Hello, welcome to Magic. It's been a while since I made a video, so I want to get back into it. So I'm going to be making an Arcane Tank today. First thing to say, if you do not have Ptashas, that's fine. I'm going to do two variations of build. First, I'm going to do a variation that includes the use of Ptashas. Then I'm going to show a variation to what to do if you're not able to customize your lineage. So, for this particular build, because we're using Ptashas, I'm going to we gotta make sure that's on. We're gonna and we have that on and that on. That should do us. And for race, in Tasha's, Mountain Dwarves are a very good race. Plus the Constitution, everyone wants Constitution. Now, yes, you can customize it, but I mean, what I think is interesting is you keep the Constitution and then customize the where are you? Oh yeah, I gotta choose it first. Customize the strength, and then it'll almost be like you're making a new subclass instead of being like, I'm something other than a dwarf. Like, what? So we can do that. And then we go over here, Origin Manager, and we're going to all the proficiencies. This one can stay. All the proficiencies. Now, the reason why we're doing that is that while some people don't really get too much use out of tools, if you're in the right game, if you have the right GM, tools can be very useful. And especially because for our particular Arcane Tank, we're going Wizard and Artificer. Our Artificer is going to give us double proficiency with our tools. That means that if they are useful, they're going to be very useful. So for here, we're going to give ourselves +2 intelligence. Because, of course, both Artificer and Wizard are going to use intelligence. And I'm thinking for the story on this, where you, of course, you got your warriors who are in the mountain, but you also got the dwarves are also known for being artisans. So, again, it makes sense. We're just going to go tool, 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 and tool. It doesn't as well as tool and tool. We're going to take lots of tools. Now, the reason why we can do that, Artificer's already going to give us medium armor. So we don't got to worry about that there. We don't need light armor either. We already have that. We're not going to really be using weapons, so we don't got to worry about that either, because we're going to have, like, we get cantrips at first level. So, we're just going to take a lot of tools. With the tools you actually choose, completely up to you. I like taking, like, masonry tools, smith's tools, carpentry tools. At least those, I would say at least those three I would definitely take. Since you have plenty on your list, Alchemist Tools is a good one as well. That's gonna either that or Herbalist Tools. That's gonna allow you to create healing potions. But by having Smith Tools, Carpentry Tools, and Masonry Tools, you're pretty much able to create whatever building you want. Granted, it still takes time and all that. You need the supplies and all that, but you'd have the skill to pretty much create whatever building you want. But as you can customize that however you wish, I'm going to leave that part blank. Go ahead and do what you want with that. So for class, we're going to be, well, actually, instead of class, we're going to go do abilities first. We're going to do it point by. And I'm going to bring intelligence, and I'm actually doing 14. Our +2 is going to bring it to 16. We can get it higher with our ability score increases. And then we're going to do 14 here as well. That's going to bring us double 16. And then a 14 here as well. I do plan on taking 1 level in fighter for this build. That's going to give us a defensive fighting style, as well as it's going to give us second wind, and technically it will give us heavy armor as well. But the 14 dexterity, take half plate, you're not doing too much worse than plate armor. One less AC, not going to be a big deal. With our remaining points, we want our wisdom, we'll bring it out to a 12. And then we'll get our charisma up to a 10. Or you could do strength up to 10. Either one works. I don't like the odd numbers. We're gonna be using our ability score increases, get our intelligence up to 20, and then we'll be taking some feats. So we go back to class. Proficiencies, same thing as I was saying with the race of the tool. Choose whatever you want. You got so many already. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tools. And then that's not even the fact where if we were to go here, depending on which background you choose, it's a tank. You expect him to be in battle, so we'll just go ahead and we'll say the soldier background. There's a you can probably do a more efficient background. There's the Magic the Gathering ones that's going to add you some spells that can do some interesting things, like if it's allowable. But the one I particularly like, if you're to do that, is an engineer that adds Chaos Bolt to your spell list if it's not already on it. Chaos Bolt with this build actually do really well, because if you roll doubles on the D8, it arcs to another target. We're actually going to be going down the artillerist route with our artificer. So if we did roll, we'd have an extra D8 on our Chaos Bolt, making it a higher chance of getting those doubles. Which I'm thinking I might do a build at some point just about optimizing Chaos Bolt. But I mean, it's actually not that hard. Just go Elf. Of course, take your Is It Engineer. Gotta have at least 5 levels of Artillerist Artificer and Elven Accuracy. Then you just need to give yourself a way to get advantage. Wow, I'm getting on a tangent. Anyway, that would give you a tool, so that'd actually be a good one. So like if you are playing with it, Is It Engineer would be a really good one. But for a general, if it's allowable, go with Is It Engineer. But if you're looking at a general game, I would say either Guild Artisan. That'll give you one more tool right there. Or I'm going to be doing Soldier for flavor reasons, because this is an Arcane Tank. He's pretty much trained himself to fight. And it does give you land vehicles, so if you are in a situation where you're using land vehicles, as an artificer, you get double proficiency. So you'd be able to go all around the enemy, doing whatever. You'd be able to control your vehicles like crazy, as well as whatever you need to do with vehicles. So we're going to take that. Whenever I use an intelligence-based character, I love taking the Dragon Chess set. Makes you feel fancy. So, for skills, I like the Arcana. You are an Arcane Tank, it makes sense. And I generally will take Investigation, but we're going to take Perception. Because if you look here, you only have a +1 on your Wisdom, and stealth, like part of you is your tank. You don't want them getting advantage on you simply because you don't see them. We're gonna be giving them disadvantage with some parts of this build if they don't need sight, the blur spell. We don't want them getting that, negating that disadvantage. So, now that we have our first level, that gave us proficiency in our medium armor and also proficiency in shields. So we could use that at the same time. So that's gonna give us decent AC right away. So then we're gonna add in our wizard and bring that to level 2. So we'll be taking our war wizard or war magic. That's going to give us, well, first of all, tactical wit. We have that's going to give us intelligence modifier on initiative right there. That's going to be 3, 4, 5. That's the initiative plus 5. That's going to give us better initiative already. And then the next thing is we have here, we have Arcane Deflection. That's going to bump up our AC by 2 and our saving throws by 4. While we will have the shield spell, by having this here, that's going to effectively bump up our AC almost permanently because and with our level 5 feature, the Artificer will give us, our cantrips are going to do more anyway. And then we're an artillerist, we can take either our flamethrower or our Eldritch turret, and we're dealing decent damage with that. So damage isn't too big of an issue even with just doing cantrips. Or we can just have the Arcane Deflection and have our turret and give ourselves 10 hit points, and we're going to be really hard to kill. So now that we have gone to level 2, we're going to go back to Artificer, get our subclass. And that's going to be our artillerist. Another thing that's going to do, that's going to give us our arcane infusions. So these are just ones that I think are just really good mainstays. Our enhanced arcane focus and our enhanced defense. That's going to give us +1 AC, as well as +1 to spell attack rolls. That's going to make us, for the most part, just more consistent in combat. And then what I like to do with the other options, because they're not like regular options, that I'll take the first half and go, these will be my regular options, and then the second half, you're going to look at more niche options, to where I go, okay, I'm going to mostly use these, but if something comes up, I'm going to have this other thing available. So like I'm going to normally be taking the replicate magic item. There's a few other niche ones in there, but you really or replicate magic item. Bag of holding is normally good, but it's not as good as an infusion because again, this is a more niche item, and it's hard to find some good infusions for those niche items at this level. But Goggles of Night could be a good niche item to share because you're already a dwarf. You got dark vision. Just give out a few examples. I'm not gonna get too into it because honestly, when it comes to the niche items, that is gonna be very campaign dependent on what is actually good. There's a few that as we get higher levels, they're just plainly good. But this is what we're going to start off with. We have enhanced defense and enhanced arcane focus. So then we're going to be taking Artificer to 4 and War Wizard to 4. That's going to finish our wizard. So with that, we're going to get our intelligence up to 18 here. And then here, we're going to take War Magic. Well, War Caster. Let's give us advantage on our concentration checks. That's going to keep our blur up. As well as we have a few other a few other concentration checks will probably be taken. Playing this out the other day, forgot which spells I chose. We'll look at it. I'll look at it again. And then that's also going to allow us to use a cantrip as an opportunity attack. We don't use weapons anyway, so we want to be able to have something for opportunity attacks. Perfect for Shocking Grasp, as you'd have disadvantage for most other spells. So then, from here, we're going to continue to level up our Artificer. As you see at level 5, let's give us our Arcane Firearm. That's what's going to allow us to have additional D8. That's going to help us with our damage. That means at level 5, we're rolling 3 dice for our cantrips. That's a pretty good damage for cantrips. And then, looking ahead, we have our tool expertise. That means that coming at 6th level, all those tools we chose, a lot better. Then Flash of Genius, so we're just go up to level 8. Do that ability score increase. Ask it to finish out intelligence. Alright, so it's going to be an intelligence of 20. And we'll continue to level up. So, right all the way up to level 15. Actually, we'll just go level 16. We won't take the fighter level. It's okay. At that point, the fighter level wouldn't do much for us. So for our ability score improvement, we're going to look at where our abilities are right now. We got 16 Constitution, 20 Intelligence, 12 Wisdom, 14 Dexterity. That's pretty good, but we could do a little better. So we have 2 left. So what we could do, you see, I could have done this and made myself look all smart and get this right the first time, but I was rethinking this thing halfway through. So we're going to go to abilities, and we're going to knock that down. We'll knock that down to 8. Yeah, put that back up to 9. And then, for our ability score improvement, Resilient Wisdom. And then for this one, we're going to, where are you? Shield Master. That's going to add our Shield's AC bonus during Dexterity saving throw we get, and then considering, at this point, we got more infusions. So we are going to be taking Repulsion Shield for one of our infusions. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 5 that are going to be our regular, actually infused items. So that's be 1, 2, 3. Spell Refueling Ring is pretty good. That's going to give us one more 3rd level spell, or 3rd or lower. So, but if we go to replicate magic item, and then go all the way down, we got some higher level options here. So I guess we'll see where it's at, because I remember that we get it. Where are you? Ah, there you are. Ring of Protection. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Replicate magic item. And we're going to take Cloak of Protection. And then let's give us 5 options that we can. We will be sacrificing AC or attack bonus to switch them out. I would recommend probably the Cloak of Protection if you only switch one out. But you have 5 other niche options. Some good things that I would recommend. Cloak of the Elven kind. Even if you go with half plate, that would give you disadvantage on stealth checks. It gives them disadvantage on perception checks. And it gives you advantage on your stealth checks. So you do your stealth checks normally, and they have disadvantage to see you. Or Cloak of the Manta Ray. That'll give you a really good swim speed. While the wing boots are good, and you might want to choose them because that would save you a 3rd level spell slot on fly. Like, you do have fly as an option. Ring of Jumping. It's kind of like it's kind of like winged boots, but then again, if you look at it, we only have a 9, so that's going to give us. I'd actually be pretty good because 9 barely covers like a 10-foot. Like, you could reach out and like you'd grab the edge of a 10-foot ledge, and you could pull and you might not even be able to pull yourself up. So Ring of Jumping could actually be pretty good. But then again, you do have spells that can take care of these situations. This will help as well. Ability check, saving throw. This like in the thing I just said. You do the jump. You grab it. You might slip. Flash of genius on yourself. There you go. So now that this is the leveling. This is how you would level, what order. Keep in mind, as you do this, you're behind on ability score improvements, but there's abilities that increase your AC with each of those levels should make up for that. So, first thing we go here, we're going to add we're not going to remember our start equipment. We'll just add the items to pretty much to tell you what you're going to look at. By this level, you're going to have half plate, and whatever half medium armor gives you, go with that. Otherwise, get better medium armor as you go. So, if I can find it, there it is. Enhanced defense. For some reason, it's bugging out, and I don't have anything infused yet. But it's not letting me do that, so I got to override. So we'll infuse that and create infusion. Boom, AC up to 19 there. Repulsion shield. Create infusion. AC up to 21. Create infusion. Oh, forgot to tune 22 AC. Ring of Protection, 23 AC. Cloak of Protection. That's going to be 24 AC. And then we'll attune to that one as well. I personally prefer a wand over the rod or staff. That's just how I prefer. You might reflavor it as a gun of some kind. That works as well. And then you still do have one more free attunement slot because you're an artificer. And of course, by level 20, you would have found plenty of magic items. And if, let's say, you have a magic item that has a better than +2 for defense, you can easily put that there. If you find a better shield, if you already found a ring of protection or a cloak of protection, or something that serves that purpose better, you can replace them, and then you could use one of your other infusions that would have been more niche or more flavorful that works there. Again, Artificer with that has a lot of versatility and a lot of being able to change things up. Like, just as an example, because the infusion doesn't go away when you take your long rest. If you look at infusions, let's say you're in a game with a lot of downtime. You have, right at level 2, where are ya? Where are ya? Pot of Awakening. Now, let's look at what the Pot of Awakening actually does. Alright, so Pot of Awakening. If you plant an ordinary shrub in this 10-pound clay pot and let it go for 30 days, the shrub magically transforms into an awakened shrub at the end of that time. When the shrub awakens, this root breaks the pot, destroying it. If the awakened shrub is friendly towards you, absent commands from you, it does nothing. You can easily have depending on what kind of campaign you're going in, if you ever get a lot of downtime, pots are pretty much inexpensive. And clay pot, well, there's a tool proficiency for manipulating clay. Like pottery, you can have one of your tool proficiencies be pottery, and like you could totally be someone who go Minecraft it up, go out there, harvest some clay, make a clay pot, find a shrub, put it in there, and then for no cost, you get a minion every 30 days. So if you're doing like a survival campaign, you can start doing this. Considering we took 2 levels we took the 1 level in Artificer, then you took 2 levels in Wizard. If you want to do that, you can change up a bit, take the 2nd level in Artificer right away, get your infusions, and then take the levels in Wizard. You might just want to do that anyway. It's up to you how you do it. But this would actually be really good to do. Granted, an awakened shrub, let's go here and actually look at an awakened shrub. Come on. Miscellaneous awakened shrub. These things are piddly little creatures, but they could do things for you. Now here's an interesting thing. If you want to be an evil guy, if you have an evil character, you could just have an awakened shrub. Like, they have a damage vulnerability to fire. You get fire spells. You get a flamethrower turret. You could get a bunch of these. Like, granted, that would be like wasting months of investment. But you can get a bunch of these and then have them like go around a building. And I could see you easily convincing a GM, being like, yeah, they're going to go around this building, and then I'm going to set them on fire, and I burn down the entire building. It's great. And then, of course, there's the alchemy jug. All sorts of things you can do with that. A part of that is you create mayonnaise. Cooking utensils is a tool proficiency. You can become an amazing cook. So that gave us an AC of 24. keep in mind, we could use our Arcane Deflection. That would make it AC 26. And then, if we look at features and traits, go down, and fortified position. You and your allies have half cover within 10 feet of a cannon created with the Eldritch Cannon. That's going to give you an additional 2. So that's going to be 29 EC. That is pretty much always active. In addition to that, if we look here, our worst saving throw is a +1. We have 3 saving throws, all at least 10. And then we have our Arcane Deflection, meaning that we have a saving throw of additional +4. And then we have an advantage. I believe that means advantage, right? I remember adding it. I forgot if that Shield Master actually gave advantage. Oh no, it just says add. Oh, that's why it's +2. Okay, yeah. Well, that's weird. I'm attuned to the shield, and the Arcane Propulsion Shield gives +3. The Arcane Repulsion. I don't know how you would rule it, but that should be additional +1. Well, it says +3 here. Well, now I'm getting confused. Oh well. Let me just customize that. There we go. And then let's look at our spells. You can see we got a few spells that actually, without choosing anything, this could be from our Artificer. For our known spells, I would definitely say you're going to want Shocking Grasp, melee cantrip, good to have. Then I'm actually going to say, where are you? Firebolt. If you did it a little differently, maybe if you didn't, if you weren't too worried about your wisdom saving throws, or if you didn't take Warcaster, you like pulled them in, or you're keeping the enemy away, and you took Spell Sniper instead, then I would say take Ray of Frost. That would turn the 60-foot range into 120-foot range. The reason why I would say Firebolt with this particular setup, it already has that 120-foot range, and we want that to line up with our Force Ballista. So we're not going to be able to have a situation where we're able to hit with our Force Ballista, but we don't have any cantrips that reach. And we might have leveled spells that reach, but if you're keeping them in that range, it's more efficient to just use a cantrip and just plink at them and force them to take a bunch of hits before they can even get close to you. And we can take 2 more spells. So we could take more damage spells, but I'm going to say we're going to take Prestidigitation. I always like this one for flavor reasons. If you look at here, you can... Where is it? Why am I not seeing? Yeah, you instantly clean or soil an object no larger than 1 cubic foot. I always use this to like I got clean clothes. You go into an adventure and uh, my GM always says like, yeah, sure, go ahead, and I'll be like, all right, press this station, this part of the clothes, and press this station, this part, then this part, then this part, and I have clean clothes every day, and I keep myself clean. I just love that flavor wise, and yeah, and then we're going to take the mending cantrip. I don't know, like just artificers, it makes sense for them to have mending. We're a tank, of course, so we're going to be taking cure wounds. And then, blur. I love having arcane lock. Addition that can, you can cut off routes and cause them to come from only one direction. For hit points, this is average, but you can roll and I'll give you a different number. Heat metal, again, as heat metal is just such good control. I love it. Keep in mind though that we now have more than one concentration spell, so keep that in mind. I would say though, if you do run into someone in heavy armor, like metal armor, heat metal is the better option over blur, because blur is just going to slow down how fast you are taken out. Heat metal, it's guaranteed damage as long as they got that heavy metal. Blink, that's another good one. That's going to make you harder to hit. Fly, we're going to want that. I mean, who doesn't want fly? Glyph of warding, I just love these glyphs. I like them. Revivify. Oh, that's another one really good. I don't know. I see an artificer. They gotta have fabricate. You gotta have that fabricate. Summon construct. That's good. Sanctuary. Protect. Your tank. You may want to protect someone. That's gonna be a good one for that kind of role. And honestly, like, you do have a decent number of spell slots, but you're a 20th level character and your highest spell slot is 6th. So, what I'd recommend, Ritual. Ritual. And that takes care of that. So then when we come over here, just because we already got our attacking cantrips, we already got our precipitation, and Artillerist prefers attack rolls, so even though Create Bonfire is nice for control, there is an issue with his concentration. Oh well. We don't really need another attacking cantrip. I'm going to say take Control Fire. Oh, where are you? Where are you? Gust, Mold Earth, and Shape Water. That's a lot of utility. If you're really worried about damage types, then in addition to Firebolt, you can give up Mending, and you can take the Ray of Frost. Here. That's going to have less range than the Firebolt, but that's going to shore up that damage type. This would do it as well, but I believe that actually does less damage than the Ray of Frost. Yes, it does. But it does get your spellcasting ability modifier. So, and this is a ranged spell attack. Let's look at how that actually lines up with as a spellcasting focus. When you cast an artifact spell through the firearm, roll a d8. It wouldn't really work too well with Magic Stone, so I wouldn't worry about that. Actually gives you a lot of utility, like a lot of between Prestidigitation, Control Flames, Gust, Mold Earth, and Shape Water. That's a lot of utility. So at level 1 of Wizard, we got 6 spells. So we're gonna take Alarm, we're gonna take Comprehend Language, Ritual, Detect Magic, Ritual, Find Familiar, Ritual. We will take Identify, Ritual. Protection from Good and Evil, we'll take that as well. That's going to do a similar roll to Blur, but it's going to last longer. And it's going to... but it's only against specific types. To be fair, a lot of the creatures that don't rely on sight are going to be included in what Protection from Good and Evil protects us from. So that's going to shore up that defense. And then that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's level 1. Level 2, technically would still have to be first level, so let's look at a few more first levels. So let's look at what we'd actually be doing. We're not going to be, because of our Arcane Deflection, we're not actually casting too many spells. So while Magic Missile could be nice, we don't need it. Illusionary Script, that's another ritual. And we could do some interesting things with these rituals. Like, you may not think that they would be useful. Once you actually have them, though, you tend to find uses for them. And we get one more choice at level 1 before we open up level 2 as options. You know what? If you want to use this build, I'd leave that choice up to you. It really doesn't matter too much. Like, Grease is good, sure, but yeah, we'll say Grease. I get that level Greases still have a lot of usefulness. And then that'll open us up to our level 2 options for choices. I probably should have done this better and be like, alright, let's level this one up and then choose these spells. Oh well. So, that's going to bring us to level 3. We already got Arcane Lock from Artificer. So, to get the other side, we're going to take Knock. So not only can we open them up, but we can not only can we close them, but we can open them up. And what is that at? I'm thinking of a spell, but I can't remember what level it was. Was it on this other list and I didn't see it? Oh, yes, we need that one. We need that one. So we're going to give up. What do we want to give up? We'll give up Magic Mouth. We need Intellect Fortress. Resistance psychic damage as well as advantage on intelligence, wisdom, charisma saving throws. So that means as long as it's concentration, we have advantage on constitution checks. We have advantage on dexterity. No, that was just a bonus, not advantage. I keep on forgetting that. But then we have we can give ourselves advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Considering how low our charisma is, a +1, that advantage should be pretty big. We're almost never going to fail concentration checks. Plus 11 with advantage there. We're not going to plus 10 with advantage. We're not going to fail our wisdom checks. Granted, we're going to need to know what's going on, but we can easily cast this spell. And it's with our concentration being so high, it's not going down. And then we'll go ahead and replace that Magic Mouth that I had gotten rid of over here. And we got a few more. And yeah, I'm pretty much just looking at see invisibility. That's to be a good option. But for most part, for the wizard spells, I'm looking at rituals. Let's give us a lot of I guess a lot of options to do stuff without casting spells. And we already have decent options for spells. We have a few clutch plays. We got our fly. We got our intellect fortress. We got our power. We got our shatter. We got our fireball. Glyph of warding is fun. Scorching ray is fun. And then looking at, we have good options for our spell storing item. We got cure wounds. Cannot do shield because that needs to be one action, but we got cure wounds. Arcane lock is actually pretty interesting for that. I thought of a character one time that you can have arcane lock on your spell storing item and grapple someone, put handcuffs on them, and then arcane lock using your spell storing item the next turn, and that will pretty much be the end of it right there. The spell storing item you can give to someone else, so that could be interesting for let's say you have a concentration spell. You can just like pass around the spell storing item, and then each person's like, and all of a sudden you have an entire party with blur, or you have the entire you're fighting, they're all being inflicted with heat metal. Granted, that would make to where each person would have to roll their concentration, but that could be interesting. But for the most part, I would say Scorching Ray or Cure Wounds. Some of the better choices for your spell storing item. And Cure Wounds on a spell storing item, that makes you a decent healer, not the best healer, but that's 10d8 plus 50 in healing. So that's going to give you decent initiative. That's going to give you pretty good saves across the board. With your that's a +9 in dexterity, with your worst save being a +5. Keep in mind that's using your arcane deflection. You got generally 29 AC as your average because of when you have your turret up, you got your half cover. When you got your arcane deflection. By this level, you'd have 2 turrets. If the enemies are close, you'd be using the flamethrower. If they're far away, you use your force ballista, and then also use your protector. Is that called? Yes, use your protector. That's give you temporary hit points. Each one of these have 80 hit points as well, which, if you aren't worried about now, I like the utility. You can easily replace some of these to give you your other damage types. But if you're not worried about that, just take the Firebolt, have the Mending. You can actually heal up. You can heal up these guys. They last for 10 minutes. It does take a minute to cast Mending, if I believe. Casting time, 1 minute, yes. But that is something you can do. It's probably not one of the least efficient things you can do, but it is something you can do. In all, I think this is actually really good character. He's gonna be hard to kill. He's gonna be good for the long haul. He's got a it doesn't show it here, but he's got a lot of tools, decent skills. His perception's at 8. That's actually pretty good. He's got 11 Arcana, and like I was saying, all those tools you can specialize in whatever tools you want. Really good rolls on those tools. You're looking at a decently good character. You're not going to be doing like the swingy plays. You're not doing a meteor swarm. Then again, you can easily, boom, arcane deflection plus 9 to your dex saving throw. You just avoided a meteor swarm. So your plays might seem just as swingy because when you avoid it, you have the shield master, you take no damage. Alright, before I... Yep, take no damage. That's what it is. But you gotta, use your... This is one of the issues with this build. You have multiple things looking for your reaction. Use your reaction, take no damage. You could use your reaction, you use a cantrip. Arcane deflection is your reaction. That's probably the biggest issue with the build. You got so many things looking for your reaction. So you might be able to have it and you take half damage from it, or if you do roll high enough, because like +5 is not horrible. If you do roll high enough, use your reaction, take no damage. But even if you do take half damage from a meteor swarm, for example, as long as you survive it, you can still heal yourself, and you just survived a 9th level spell, and you can keep on trucking. Bring up new turrets. You're good again. Yeah, I'd love to hear what people think of the build. How it was differently, and I almost completely forgot what I would do if you do not have access to Tasha's. Instead of a Mountain Dwarf, go Warforged. Just give you additional +1 to AC, as well as you can still get that option to Intelligence. Another interesting one might be the Vidalcan. That one will give you +2 to AC. It'll also give you a little bit more with your skills. But the whole idea here is the tank. So the Warforged would be good with that +1 to Intelligence. I just really liked using the Mountain Dwarf Natasha's because 1, you can change out for all those tools, and 2, You could change out that strength to intelligence and +2 in 2 separate skills. It's just too good. Well, thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think. What should do differently. If you'd like to hear about any kind of builds with any different classes. Have a good day.